How to stay calm when everything falls apart. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism, particularly through the penetrating insights of Lucius Annaeus Seneca, offers not just a dusty academic theory, but a radical, intensely practical blueprint for navigating the inevitable turbulence of the human experience. In a world defined by its sheer unpredictability, where market crashes, sudden illness, or betrayal can turn your life upside down in a heartbeat, Seneca's counsel isn't merely helpful, it's an essential survival toolkit. His primary lesson is deceptively simple. Tranquility isn't the absence of trouble, but a deeply cultivated internal resistance to being overwhelmed by it. The bedrock of serenity, premeditation of evils, Premeditatio Malorum. One of the most powerful and counterintuitive techniques Seneca champions is the Premeditatio Malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Modern self-help often preaches pure positivity. Focus only on what you want. Seneca, however, urges us to do the opposite. Spend time actively contemplating the worst-case scenarios. This isn't morbid, it's strategic. By mentally rehearsing the loss of your job, the breakdown of your relationship, or the temporary failure of a major project, you rob these events of their paralyzing surprise. Think of it like an emotional fire drill. When the actual alarm sounds, you've already run through the motions. Seneca famously wrote, "He who has anticipated the coming of troubles gets rid of the troubles that have come." This practice builds an emotional calluses. When adversity strikes, your mind responds not with shock and despair, but with a quiet, "Ah yes, this is the scenario I considered. Now, what is the rational next step?" It transforms fear from an active enemy into a passive fact to be managed. The indestructible fortress, distinguishing control. Seneca hammers home the crucial Stoic distinction, the things we can control versus the things we cannot control. This concept is the axis mundi of his philosophy on calm. Everything external, other people's opinions, the weather, the economy, political events, and even the lifespan of your loved ones, falls squarely into the cannot control category. Everything internal, your judgments, your intentions, your efforts, and your responses, belongs to the can control category. When everything falls apart, our natural inclination is to frantically try to fix the external mess. Seneca tells us this is the path to madness. True resilience is achieved by withdrawing your energy from the chaotic periphery and investing it entirely in your inner citadel. When a storm rages, the Stoic doesn't try to stop the wind. They focus on securing their own ship. By focusing exclusively on our response, we shift from being a passive victim of fate to an active agent of our own emotional state. This realization is the great emancipator from anxiety. Escalate. The wisdom of impermanence, embracing the cycle. Much of our distress comes from a subconscious belief in permanence. We assume our current level of comfort, our possessions, and our relationships will last forever. Seneca constantly reminds us that everything is on loan from fortune. This isn't a cynical outlook, it's a profound perspective that breeds gratitude and emotional flexibility. He urges us to treat all external goods, money, status, health, as if they are merely temporary assignments. When they leave, we are not losing a possession, but simply returning a borrowed item. This intellectual distancing is key. When a great loss occurs, the mind trained by Seneca can process it not as a catastrophic end, but as a natural, scheduled transition. This acceptance of the cyclical nature of existence, the rise and fall of all things, allows the Stoic to remain steady in the trough, because they know a peak will eventually follow, and vice versa. It's an understanding that this too shall pass, a mantra that works for both great suffering and intoxicating success. Icon I. The test of character. Adversity as a gym for the soul. A common thread throughout Seneca's letters from a Stoic is the idea that adversity is not a penalty, but an opportunity. He argues that just as a soldier is tested in battle and an athlete in competition, a person's character is forged only under the pressure of misfortune. A soul that has never faced a crisis remains soft, untested, and fragile. Seneca proposes that we should actually welcome hardship, though not seek it out recklessly. When chaos reigns, it's your chance to practice the very virtues you've been studying: patience, fortitude, self-control, and dignity. He suggests we ask ourselves, is this disaster greater than my capacity to bear it? The answer, he implies, is almost always no. By viewing a collapse not as a setback, but as a final exam for your inner peace, you immediately change your perspective from a fearful victim to a courageous student. This reframe turns a moment of despair into a moment of intense personal growth. The power of silence and solitude. Finally, Seneca knew the tyranny of the crowd and the distracting noise of society. When things fall apart, the world screams for attention, offering quick fixes, distractions, and loud opinions. Seneca encourages the retreat into solitude and silence. This is not about escaping the world, but about finding your center so you can re-engage with the world from a place of strength. In the quiet, we can properly examine our own judgments, the true source of our distress. Trouble isn't the event itself, but our judgment that the event is unbearable. By stepping back, we can analyze this judgment and ask, is this true? Is this helpful? The practice of deep self-examination is the final step in Seneca's guide to remaining calm. It allows you to become your own most effective counselor, applying the logic of Stoicism to your own specific chaos. So, as you stand amidst the wreckage of a life plan or a major expectation, remember this profound wisdom from 2,000 years ago. The chaos outside is inevitable, but the peace inside is a choice. Cultivate your inner life. Know what you can and cannot control, and treat every difficulty as a chance to prove the indestructible power of your character. If this deep dive into ancient wisdom gave you a new lens through which to view your own struggles, let us know. Drop a comment below, sharing which Senecan principle you find most useful. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful insights from philosophy, and give this video a like if you feel a little steadier on your feet after hearing these words. Your support helps us share these timeless ideas with others who need them.